Good morning, everybody. Athletics. Let's jump right into it. Something I do a lot of is sports photography, photography of sports stadiums and athletic training facilities, things like that. I have a couple clients that do this as their primary program for their architecture firm. I really enjoy doing it. It's something that I've grown into and I really enjoy. It's challenging, it's rewarding, the stakes are a little higher than the normal photo shoots that I'm on, so I get a little bit of an adrenaline rush, so I really enjoy it. I'm going to take you through the process of this image. It's been a bit of an iconic image over the last couple of years of Geodis Park in Nashville. This is one frame right here. That's the real sky. I haven't touched this. Well, here, there. That's the original frame. But yeah, it was quite a moment. We set up on this shot, and I knew the sun was setting, so I chose. I chose this vantage point, and we waited and waited and waited, and just as the sunset was peaking, the home team scored a goal. So everyone celebrated, and I got the shot. It was very exciting. So I'm gonna use two. We'll get right into this. I shot this in 2023, in August of 2023. So it's a couple years old. I shot this with the Canon 5D SR, not my current Fuji GFX 102. Still a great file. We'll jump right in here. So I have two alts here. Both were made just a few moments after the initial goal was scored. There's a small delay between the sort of celebration, on the field with the fans and the players. You can see the ball has just gone in. It's bounced back out. It's right here. Everyone's throwing their hands up. We got the player running to celebrate here. Everyone else is looking dejected on the other team. That's what you want. But they didn't pop the fireworks for, a couple more seconds. You can see everyone continue to run forward here. And then the other alt here that I have is they pop the smoke here in the supporters section. You can see these sort of bleachers down here. This is for the supporters. They've all they march into the field in the beginning, and they're all dressed, and they've got their customs and traditions and things like that. So we're going to try to bring that all together into one image here. So as you know, I always do my drop-ins first. We've discussed that in the past, why it's important to keep your pixel layers on the bottom and then go from there, so that when you're doing removals, you don't remove something and then drop something over it and have to remove it again. Layer ordering is important. So we'll start here with the fireworks. So I'm just going to go ahead and, these stupid little pop-ups, huh? I'm just going to option click on making a new layer mask here, which is going to give us a black mask on top of our layer, and then I'm just going to start to mask in the fireworks. Fortunately, these fireworks happen just seconds after the last frame, so I don't have to worry about the sky having changed, right? Since this was literally 5 seconds or less after that initial frame when everyone was celebrating. So there are the fireworks. We're going to go ahead and just shift click that mask and make sure, yeah. So we're going to grab additionally some of this smoke here that was getting popped in front of the field. You just got to be careful now, right? Like, as we start to mask this in, we're going to start to get ghosty people here. So we're going to go ahead and be careful here that we don't accidentally grab anybody here. Here there's going to be some overlap where some people are going to get ghosty, but that's okay because they're behind this steam. It's not going to be a problem, I don't think. We're going to keep our ref there in the corner. I like his position. All right. So yeah, most of the work in this shot was done setting the image up and being patient. Something I learned early on in these games is you need to have scouted them well, know where you want the photos when you want them, and then you got to sit and wait, because this shot would have very little impact if everyone was just in their seats and the team was down here and the sky was beautiful. It would not be the same image. Okay, so that frame is done. We're going to go ahead now and turn this frame on here. You're going to do the same thing with an option click on the mask here to to fully black mask it out, and then we're going to mask this smoky portion back in. Just get that yellow smoke, gives us some interest down on this end of the field, balancing out the stadium a little bit. I like this person celebrating, want to make sure we keep them. I know there's another, here we go, another plume being popped right here. We'll turn this off and on in a second just to make sure that we haven't missed anything since we're masking in. Okay, looks like I missed a little bit right in here and a little bit right up here. Okay, that's looking solid. So our alts are dropped in now. I'm gonna just group those up so we can turn them off and on. Command J, or Command G rather, not J, is going to group layers if you select more than one at once. I'll throw that on the bottom. You can see these are the rest of the moves that I put on the image here. I always forget about my video capture here. I'll turn that off so you guys don't have to look at my face while we do this. Here are the rest of the moves I did. So, I brightened the image a bit. I was exposing for the sunset here. It was really important that I kept my sky from being blown out right. Like, I love all this nuance that we have happening up in here. Yeah, like we didn't want to blow out any of these lighter spots. So I'd rather underexpose my interior, my stadium a little bit and open it back up than to blow out my sky and be unable to recover my highlights. So we'll go ahead and begin. I think I'm going to do kind of two separate moves. We'll do one for the field itself, and then we'll do one for the stands. So they're both going to be soft masks. I'm brushing in a 60% flow mask to begin with, and then I'm going to brush in a 10% flow mask just to kind of blend these edges out. So we'll put this in the same group just so we're working with a set of adjustments that we can then turn off and on. So I'm just going to start opening this up. We're going to turn it off and on, and we're going to explore changing our layer attribute from normal to luminosity here and just take a look here. It didn't really seem to have much of a difference. We can go back and forth between the blending change here. So that's without the luminosity, that's with normal, and this is with luminosity. So you can see it kind of mutes down the field just a tiny bit, keeps it from going that sort of nuclear green. I do like that. So I'm going to keep it on luminosity as my attribute there. I might open it up just a sliver more. Okay, so now we're going to do the next layer, which is going to be more for the stands. We're just going to kind of brush in here, brush in here. I kind of like these two pools of arms that we have up here, and I want to draw a little more attention to that. We're definitely getting more light back here than we are in here, perceptually at least we are. So we're going to let that area kind of stay as it is, and we'll analyze whether we need to add more. But okay, so there's my mask that has been softly drawn in. I did it all on 10%, and we're just going to open this up a bit. Again, we can look at between normal and luminosity here. Yeah, I actually don't mind the color saturating a little bit, so I'm going to leave it. I don't want these arms to feel kind of gray compared to the warm light that's coming off the field. So that feels nice. We've got this bright area in the middle. It's kind of cupped by these pools of light, which is nice. I don't want to add light to my foreground. We could look at brightening up this background a little bit and possibly warming it, right? Like this upper deck is so shaded from the overhang above the stands that it's reading a little dark compared to the bowl beneath it. So let's just open and warm that slightly. It's not something that I did in the initial shot that I delivered, but it's not going to hurt us here. I can see when I open it both cyan and blue. So we're going to add a little bit of red, and particularly we're going to add a little yellow here, and then we'll look at it and decide whether it's green or not. It doesn't look like it. Sometimes when you open and warm something, it goes a little green or a little magenta, and you got to balance the tint out. But I think in this case we're looking pretty good. So I'm feeling pretty happy about that. It's not a bad move just to get a little bit of life up into these upper stands here. It doesn't make them feel so gloomy, particularly as this didn't, feel gloomy. And this is so great. Like all these people up high celebrating and, in silhouette against the sunset. It's pretty fun. Okay, feeling good about that. I just want to quickly look at these things. Okay, so we do have one other decision to make here, which is what we want on this kind of bar that's going around. I really like how this one's saying Nashville SC, the name of the soccer team. We have, one other option here. It says it's Hive O'Clock, a sponsor of the stadium here. We can change it to say Spirited Hive, or we can change it to just say the Westin. Goal Nashville, right? There's the announcer, sort of a caption there for those who are hearing impaired, perhaps. I'm not sure if I just like that yellow line. Let's explore what it looks like here. If we swap this out so it's the Westin. I'm gonna do it quick and dirty first, and then we'll go back in. And is it better? I don't know that I mind that warm bar back there. There's a lot of black and white contrast that I'm not in love with. In the where it says the Westin, so I think I'm just gonna let it be yellow. It's fine to me. Yeah, I think we're good there. So we'll leave that. The next thing is we've got this sort of like camera rigging up here that we definitely want to take out, right? Yeah, we don't need that there. There's also a couple other things. There's a little flare back here that I don't love by the American flag, which we're gonna get rid of. And then there's this person like holding a bag or something. So we're just gonna look at our alts there, and we can see there just very easily we can mask in this little corner from our other take there. I'd much rather have a can of Coke there than that dirty looking bag. Yeah, I feel fine about this. Yeah, all right. We might take a couple of these things out with our retouch layer, which actually we should be doing first. So let's go ahead and just turn these other layers off that we just made, make our retouch layer, and just clean a few things up. And then we'll turn our curves and color stuff back on. And so I'm using the remove tool, which I've done a video about the remove tool, helpful tool. I'm going to take out the Coke can. I'm going to take out this dirty napkin or whatever it is. Super helpful tool, super easy to use. Got to clean it up sometimes. It left some aberration behind there, so I'm going to go ahead and just nick that away with the clone stamp. But it gave us a nice base to retouch on top of. So anything that kind of seeps through is going to be relatively easy to take out. I'm gonna cut myself a bounding box here because I can just see I'm gonna run into problems on that edge. This seems to me like a tool for a time for the clone stamp, since we've got a very linear, directional, even and gradiated plot here. We want to make sure we don't end up with repeaters, so I'm going to back up and redo that part where we were starting to get this texture was being copied over. We want to fade it in there and not continue it across because we're getting some natural reflection. And the same, actually, you know what, I'm going to go ahead, now that we're not dealing with that top edge as much, I'm going to go ahead and just use the remove tool here and hope it does a good job with the gradient. It didn't. It made it really blue for some reason. Fine with me, I'll fix it. Okay, it's feeling better. Okay, nearly clean, but not quite. We've got this like weird little edge here. It's hard to see, but it's there. All about the subtleties there. Okay, so that should have faded it. We'll clean up this foreground just a little bit more because I really don't want to leave. This is an important note here. The foreground is just a runway for our eyes, right? It's pointing, look, we got nice leading lines pointing us directly into the image. We've got a nice rhythm here in the foreground. We've got low people, they're not blocking our vision. We just want our eyes to slide right into this image and stay out here, in the foreground. We don't want it all hobbled by this and that in the foreground, right? That tipped over water bottle isn't my favorite thing. Probably it's worth just hitting with the remove tool faster than I can even really analyze whether I want to keep it or not. I don't think it's probably doing anything good for us, right? No? You agree with me? Okay, good. All right. So last thing is going to be this flare. It's not going to be quite as easy unless we'll check it. Yeah, it's there. It's there. Oh, That smoke is kind of interesting. Did we miss that? Should we put that in, or is it just distracting on the edge of the... No, it's just distracting. That just takes us, you know, a bright thing right on the edge of our frame that we really don't need messing with the beautiful, warm, bright center of our image, right? Pretty good on the American flag there. We're gonna undo that a little bit. We'll come in with a smaller brush. Oftentimes if you use a brush with the remove tool and it does a bad job, you can go ahead and just come back in with a smaller brush and make it do a better job. We've got a little bit of an unnatural glare that it created on the underside of this big old I-beam here, so we're just gonna cut in a little edge there and clone stamp our edge back in at a much more neutral feeling spot. We'll cut the American flag out of it here. Yeah, it should be fine now. Okay, that's better. Yeah, feels good. Okay, so overall, I think the field is feeling a little bit green. It's a soccer field, but it should be feeling a little more magenta than that. It should be feeling a little warmer, right? Grass isn't usually so green as it is a nice yellow green. I'm going to turn these layers back on, and then I'm going to take the layer we made for the field. I'm just going to command click the mask itself and make a new curves layer. We can't use the same layer because we've done it, you know, we've made it a luminosity layer, so it's only going to be affecting the density of the image. It's not going to be affecting the color. So if we were to change the red, green, or blue channel, it wouldn't really do anything. So I'm going to start by just taking maybe 3 points of magenta out of the shot. That feels better already. I might put a tiny bit of yellow on it, just 1 or 2 points. Oops, I just put blue on it because I wasn't paying attention. Okay, so there's a little bit of yellow, and I don't think we need to add red to it. I think it's feeling good. That's handsome. Maybe it needs a little bit more yellow. A little bit contaminated now. The whites are starting to feel a little yellow. I want to make sure that these, you know, maintain their feeling of cleanliness. Do we want to touch it with a little bit of red? Maybe just 1 point. Yeah, so okay, we added 2 points of, maybe 3 points of magenta, 2 points of yellow, and a point of red, and this is how big of a difference it made. Significant. It definitely feels more in keeping with the sunset that we have going above, which I'm a fan of. Yeah, all right. One other thing to take out is this. I don't like this bright light here. It is a Nashville FC logo, but I don't think it's doing anything for us here. Remove tool's gone haywire. It's like, well, I should probably just make up something, right? That's what you want me to do? Not consider my context and surroundings in any way, shape, or form? That sounds good? Okay, good. Last thing we want to do, once more, we'll turn off our masks. So I'm going to go ahead and give myself some breaks here. So I'm going to start with the clone stamp and just give myself some edges and places where I know that the remove tool is going to run into some stumbling. When it comes to these edges, it doesn't really know what to do if it's got you know, a line that runs into another line and it's not a nice clean break. It tends to freak out a little bit. So we'll give it one there. We'll probably give it one here, which is not actually going to be that easy. Give it here, yeah. Right, so we'll let it, give it an end there. So now if I take the remove tool and just take out these 3 lines, I'm going to do it all. This seems a little counterintuitive, but I'm going to do it, instead of doing it in 3 different lines, I'm going to do it all at once, because what it's going to do for me is it's going to tell the computer that we're removing those 3 lines and not to consider those lines when redrawing. Because sometimes if you leave, you know, if you're taking out one line next to another line, it looks around and sees, oh, there's supposed to be a line here, so I'll make up my own version of the line, right? We'll see how it does when we splice it right into this thing here. I did a good job. Okay. So again, I'm just going to give it a couple breaks so I can do this in sections and not in these giant, these super long pieces. So we'll do those 6 sections there with 2 breaks. Okay, that was stupid. I need to sample from far closer than that. Okay. So that ought to, ooh, man, I made repeaters and stuff. Let's slow down. Do it right. Okay. Now we're logging. All right. Gosh, I've done a terrible job. These like infinite gradients are not my favorite things to deal with, which is why I love the remove tool so much. See, this is why we do all three at once, because we end up with stuff happening like this, where it's like, oh, well, you must want some sort of a line floating in the air, right? Thought I would just do one as an example. We'll try this one. This one's further from the other, so I'm guessing it's going to take it out in one piece. Yeah. This one will do, give myself a little bit bigger brush so I don't have to be quite as precise here. This one will do in one piece. Oh, for some reason the remove tool is also obsessed with trying to close polygons off like that. I don't know what to tell you. Okay, whatever, I overshot a little bit there. Okay, so let's see if we can take these last three sections out of wire. Man, when I did this back in 2023, there was not a remove tool, and man, this took me a lot longer. So I'm loving this. I think I did a lot of healing brush and patch tool and clone stamping and various methods. That worked. It worked fine. It just took longer, which is how it was. Which is why we're happy with these new tools. They make our lives, the quality of life, just a little better, right? Okay, we're gonna turn it off and on and just make sure we don't perceive a long line going through, which we don't really anywhere. This is a little suspicious right here, but it's actually kind of how the cloud was. Just kind of coincidentally was running, you know, parallel with the lines we took out. So I'm fine with it. I'm good. I'm happy. Okay, so overall, I think the image could use a little bit of a bump in brightness as well, and turning on all my layers there again. This is essentially what I delivered now. We're going to go ahead and hit our action for luminosity masks that we all like. And we've all made, I'm sure. If not, go to my tutorial and go make it. All right, so I'm going to take the darks. Yeah, see here, we don't really need to mess with the sky so much, but the whole stadium's feeling a little bit dark. So we're gonna go ahead and brighten that up, but we're gonna add a little contrast while we do it. So we're gonna bump our toe back just a little bit. I want to maintain darks always, you know, it's part of the game. I'm not minding what it's doing to the clouds. It's taken a little bit of our natural vignette away, which I'm gonna go ahead and brush back. So yeah, I'm just gonna take a nice black brush and brush like this kind of curved vignette over the top of my sky. So now the move that I put on the rest of the image is, you know, here's what the wrong button. Here's what the vignette looks like now. So yeah, you can see I'm just kind of brushing it off of this part so that I'm not opening my edges. Where did I just put that? There it is. Okay, so that's feeling better to me. I don't really know that we need to do a whole lot more than that. I think this image is feeling pretty good. Yeah, let me see if I can. No, I don't actually have. I only pulled the one file onto my computer from the old archived set of images, so I don't have the raws to show you today. My apologies for that, but yeah. That's it. Let me turn this off and turn this on. Yeah, so it looks like I did brighten up the, oh, I guess, yeah, I didn't brighten it up that much more. Just a little bit in the file that I delivered. I like either version. Yeah, a little bit brighter on my foreground color isn't gonna kill me here, or on my, not foreground color, but oops, that's the fans. My field brightening move. Bottom one, luminosity one. Yeah, I don't want to go too far with it because then we start to lose the lines and stuff. But yeah, that feels pretty good. I'm happy with that. I'd be happy with that any day of the week. In fact, it was quite a miraculous little moment that happened. It's just one of those things. It's like fishing, right? You make your luck. You wait long enough, and you get lucky. The big fish bites, and you land it. So we're happy with that shot. it's been published. It's made its way around. It was quite a moment, and we were all happy to stand there and see the home team make a goal, and the architect was there, and we were all pretty happy. Didn't I? Oh, I didn't take these out. Yeah, we should probably get rid of those too, but we can do that another day. Good stuff, everybody. Thanks for playing along. I hope you're all having as busy a spring as I am. It's rough out there, so thank you so much. I'll see you next time. Take it easy. Have a good week.